Welcome to Cartoon Academy. I'm Joe Wos. Thanks for tuning in. In this episode, we visit a winter wonderland. Let's draw a quirky character from the South Pole, a penguin. It's a very special kind of penguin. We're going to find out what makes him so special in just a minute. Let's draw. We're going to start with the eyes. It's an oval shape. There we go. All right, next to that oval, we have the other eye, which is a letter C backwards. The pupils are little dots in the eyes, 1 and 2. Now for the beak. Starting from the base of the eye, come out, in, and add a little dash. Down and up, sort of a letter V shape, and then follow that. Down, around, and back up. Now we're going to add a little bit of depth. This is called form. It's a shape that seems three-dimensional. To do that, we just add a line from the tip of the nose to the base of the eye. Good. Now for the shape of the penguin. There are lots of different kinds of shapes. There are traditional shapes like circles or squares and triangles. Lots of different shapes that I'm sure you know. But you can use just about any kind of shape for a cartoon. For the penguin, I want you to picture a bowling pin. Now we're not going to quite draw a bowling pin, but keeping that shape in your imagination will help you draw the character. We're going to start from a quarter of the way over on this eye. Come up, down, in slightly, out, and back in with a wing. Now for the other side. We come down, around, out, and up. There's that bowling pin shape, see? Now we had 2 lines across like this, and another wing. Now let's add the feet. Out, around, and in, out, around, and in. Now we're going to add an interior design. Interior means inside. This is exterior, all the lines around the penguin that form the basic shape. The interior is where we put the design. We draw a letter V, round and down, and then down and over. Now we're going to fill all of this in. Now I'm using my black marker, but you could color your penguin purple or blue or orange or yellow, any color at all you want. It's your drawing, not mine. So use your imagination and color your penguin whatever color you like. I'm just drawing a traditional black and white penguin. And don't worry about coloring inside the lines. Just do your best. It's okay if you don't color inside the lines perfectly. There we go. Make sure we don't forget this wing here. I mentioned to you this was a very special penguin. This penguin is anthropomorphic. Now that's a really big word, anthropomorphic. And I'm going to tell you what it means. Anthropomorphic basically means animals or characters that act like people. In some way they have human traits. They might have a personality like a human, or they might dress like a human, or do different actions and activities like a person. It's a very common thing in cartoons, and it's called anthropomorphism. So to make our character a little more anthropomorphic, first we're going to give him costume like a human. Remember, costume is what a character wears. So we're going to give him a little hat. It's the letter M over and over. And then we draw a little squiggly line out, point, back in, and connect. There's a little tassel on the end. If you want, you could add stripes. Now we're going to take these two lines here and turn it into a scarf. Squiggly line out, out, one, two little lines, and then again, stripes, polka dots, whatever you prefer. Let's give them a little bit of emotion and expression like a person. We're going to add some eyebrows and some eyelids. That's one cool penguin. Now we're going to add skates. We have a line down, out, point, in, and then a letter L on its side. Line down, out, point, in, letter L on its side. Now one of my favorite secrets about drawing. Cartoonists like to hide things in our drawings. Sometimes we like to hide our names, and this is a great place to do it because any scribble will look like shoelaces, but I'm going to use my signature, J-O-E-W-O-S. If your name is short enough, you could sign your name there too, or you could just use part of your name, or any scribbles at all will work just fine. Now we're going to add a bit of setting. Setting tells us where or when our story takes place. Our story takes place on a pond in the winter. So we're going to add a frozen lake with some ice. Line across. We're going to add a little snowbank in the background. Just some snow piled up there. Good. Now we're going to show some of the action happening. We want to show that he's skating on the ice. So we add just a couple lines like this to show some movement. And then that shows us he's moving very, very fast. The last thing we're going to add is a bit of environment. Environment is all the things sort of happening in the background. Usually it's something very simple. There's some clouds, or maybe the sun, or if it's raining outside, or there's lightning. In this case, we want to show that it's winter time, so we're going to add some snow. We're not going to draw every single snowflake. In fact, I'm just drawing a little letter C over and over. But that's just enough to hint at the environment, that it is wintertime. Remember to sign your name, take pride in your work. And that is your very special anthropomorphic penguin. Next, we're going to visit a winter wonderland. One of my favorite wintertime activities is building a snowman. So today, I'm going to show you how to draw a snowman. Now, if you've drawn a snowman before, you've probably used a circle as your base shape. But if we use a circle, our snowman is just going to roll away. So we're going to flatten out the base of that, and we're going to open up the top for more of a letter U shape. Come down, around, and up. We're going to repeat that same shape 2 more times. Each time, it's going to get a little bit larger. So down, around, and up, down, around, and up. Now we're going to add the face. I like to make a traditional snowman, so we're going to use a carrot for a nose. Starting from about the middle of the face, we come out, in, and around. Uh-oh, I made a mistake. But that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. It's one of the ways we learn. Now, there are a couple things you can do when you make a mistake. You could set it aside and start over, but I don't really want to do that. You could erase it, but I'm using a marker, so I can't erase. So my last option is I can learn to fix my mistake. You can't always erase the mistakes you make in life, but you can learn to fix them. So I'm going to look at this line that goes right through here. That's where I made the mistake. I'm going to turn that into a little bit of texture. Texture is how something feels when you touch it. And carrots have these rough ridges. There we go. We fixed our mistake. Now we're going to finish the rest of the face. We're going to add the eyes, 2 eyes made out of coal. 1, 2. Now for my favorite part, we're going to add a little bit of expression on the face. Expression is one way we can show emotion, how a character feels. And this is a very happy snowman. So we're going to add dash, 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 dash. That's called dashing through the snow. Now we're going to add costume. Costume is what a character wears that helps tell us who they are. Everybody wears a certain kind of costume, but imagine certain professions like a firefighter or a police officer or a teacher. Think about what they wear, how they dress. That gives us a little bit of information about who they are. That is costume. For a snowman, we're going to have a top hat. So we have a line coming across the top, and then on the sides we turn that into a letter G and the letter G backwards. And then a line connecting the two. Now for the top of the hat, we come up, over, and down for a sort of square shape. Line across for the hat band. Now we're going to have a bit more costume. We're going to give him a bow tie. For a bow tie, it's a square and then two hearts on their side. 1 and 2, and then dash, dash. Now for some buttons. Circle, letter C inside, and then 1, 2. Circle, letter C, 1, 2. For the arms, we're going to use twigs or sticks. We go out and up, out and up, out and down, out and down. We're going to add a little bit of texture to make it look like wood. Just some quick little lines. Just so. There we go. Now for the hands, we're going to add mittens. We draw a line across, up slightly, letter C, and then an upside down letter U, and connect. Same thing for the other hand. Line across, down, letter C, and letter U. Let's add a little bit of elastic right around the wrist of the mittens. A line across, and 1, 2, 3 lines. Line across, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to add a bit of setting just to tell us where he is. We just want to add some snow. Just like that. There we go. Maybe the sun is shining up here in the corner. We're going to add some shading. Now, shading and shadow are the opposite of where your light source is. So the light source, the sun, is providing the light, which would go right down this side here. So all the shadows and shading would be on the opposite side over here. We're going to start with some line shading. And line shading is exactly what it sounds like. We just use lines. Just real quick little lines to add some shading. Good. Now we're going to add a cast shadow. This is the shadow that is cast from the light hitting the snowman, so it's behind and below our snowman. We draw a line like this, and then we're going to color in all of that shadow. We just want to color that in. There we go. Speaking of coloring in, sometimes a little bit of color can bring a character to life. So let's add just a little bit of color. I'm going to use a crayon to color in the nose. With some orange. And then the hat band, I think I'll make that green. Don't worry about coloring in the lines. It's okay if it's a little bit messy. It's your drawing. How about some blue for the hat? Sort of a dark blue. The bow tie and the mittens, I think I'm going to make that red. And the rest is up to you. You could color in the buttons, the sun, the background. It's your drawing, so make it your own. Be sure to sign your name, take pride in your work. Next, we're going to visit the waters of the Arctic up north. There are so many wonderful and unusual creatures in this world. One of the most beautiful and interesting is a creature called the narwhal. The narwhal has an almost mythical quality to it. You're going to see why in just a second. Let's draw. We're going to start with the eyes. We come round and up with an oval shape. The pupils look just like this. Now the eyebrow, arched up in a friendly expression. Now for the body. Normally when we're drawing something like this, I would describe a specific shape. A circle or a square or a triangle. There's lots of different shapes you can use, but this is what is called a free form. It's not any specific shape. You just have to trust yourself and draw. Okay? So follow along as best you can, but everybody's drawing is going to look a little bit different, and that's okay. You each have your own style, your own technique, your own special way of drawing that makes you who you are, and that's just fine. Here we go. We're going to start right about here. We're going to come up, around, down, and up again slightly. Okay, now for the bottom half. We're going to leave a little gap right here. We're going to come down and in. Now we're going to add the mouth. To add the mouth, we're going to add the cheek first. It's a letter C backwards. And then down, up slightly, and in. And then just connect that little line right there. Now for the body. We come down, up, and we're going to add one of the fins. Down, around, and up. There's another one right next to it. Down, around, and in. Now for the back half. Up, right to here to where that gap forms. Now we're going to add the tail fins. Around, out to a point, and in. Around, out to a point, and in. Now we're going to add the horn. It looks almost like a unicorn. It's what makes it seem so magical and mythical, but they are very, very real. The horn is actually a long tooth. It looks like this. We come out, up to a point, and then back in, a little bit wider, right to there, and then a line. Now we're going to add a bit of texture. I want it to seem like it's almost got a spiral to it. So we add these lines right like this. There we go. I'm going to give our character a relationship. Now in cartoons, a relationship is how two characters interact with one another. You and your best friend is a kind of relationship. You and your parents or your teacher. You and your cat or dog. You and the chair you're sitting on right now. Anything, anyone you interact with in cartoons is called a relationship. One of the most common and most wonderful kinds of relationship is one called a friendship. So we're going to give our character a best friend. We're going to introduce him to a seal. We're going to start at the top of the head. We come a line across, down, up to a point, and in, and keep going in and turn that right into a smile. On the tip of the nose, we had a little oval like that we color in. Next to the eyes, 1, 2. Eyebrows, dash, dash. Now for the body. We have a line down, round and up. Down, follow, up, 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 right to there. Now we're going to split this off to add flippers. Line up, over, letter V, over, and down. 2 quick little lines. Now for our flippers or arms for our character, line down and up. We're going to make the other hand waving. He's saying hello to his new friend. Up, curve to a point, back in, and then a few lines to show the motion of him waving. The last thing we're going to add is a bit more environment to sort of tell us where we are. It's some setting. We're going to have some lines above here to show that we're under the water. And then lastly, just a few bubbles. There's your narwhal and his best friend, Seal. Be sure to sign your name, take pride in your work. I hope you enjoyed our visit to the Arctic Ocean to meet a narwhal and seal. It's time to draw to a close. See you next time.